I never thought I'd see her name pop up on my phone again. Sophie Lane, my old flame, and the message wasn't innocent. I need to tell you something. It's about Emma. My heart froze. England felt colder that evening, the rain tapping on the window like a warning. I couldn't breathe, my hand shaking as I opened the text. The past I thought I'd buried was digging its claws into my present, threatening to destroy everything I had. Seeing Sophie's name brought memories rushing back. We had been inseparable, laughing under streetlights in London, sharing secrets we promised to keep forever. But I had moved on, and she had disappeared. Now, after years, she was back, and her message hinted at betrayal I couldn't yet understand. My mind spun. How could someone from my past interfere with the life I built with Emma? England's quiet streets outside seemed too calm for the storm inside me. I hesitated, then opened Sophie's next message. My stomach dropped. She confessed to an affair, but not with me, with Jake, Emma's brother. My mind went blank. I read the words again, hoping I'd misunderstood, but they were clear. I had built my life thinking I was safe, thinking I trusted the right people. Now everything felt shaky, as if the floor beneath me had disappeared. I couldn't even call Emma. Not yet. I tried to tell myself it wasn't true. Sophie might be lying. She always had a flair for drama. I pictured Emma smiling, walking home through the autumn streets of England, the leaves crunching under her feet. Could she really betray me with her brother? My heart screamed no, but my mind whispered maybe. The tension twisted like a knot in my chest. I wanted to confront her, but part of me was afraid of what I would find. Finally, I confronted Sophie over a video call. Her eyes were calm, almost too calm. She didn't apologize. She just stared and said, "I didn't mean for you to find out like this, but it's true. Jake and it happened." I felt like the ground had vanished again. How could she be so matter-of-fact about this? England's gray skyline behind her seemed to echo my disbelief. I ended the call, my hands shaking, my chest tight, realizing my life was about to split in two. I couldn't sleep. My mind replayed Sophie's words again and again. I thought of Emma's smile, of her laugh, of all the little moments I loved, and suddenly they felt like lies. I kept staring at my ceiling as the rain tapped softly against the window. England's night was quiet, but my world was loud with betrayal. I didn't know if I should confront Emma tonight or wait, but the fear was gnawing at me. Morning came, cold and gray. I made a decision. I needed answers. I couldn't ignore this, not for another day. I texted Emma, keeping my voice steady. "Can we talk tonight?" She replied with a simple yes. England's streets outside seemed endless as I walked, trying to imagine how I would face the person I loved most while hiding the secret that threatened everything. My stomach twisted, but I knew I couldn't wait any longer. I arrived at Emma's flat, heart hammering. I paced the small living room, pretending to read a book, though my mind raced. England's overcast sky pressed against the window, making the room feel smaller. Each sound made me jump. The kettle, the rustle of leaves, the distant hum of traffic. I wanted to ask her everything at once, but I needed the right words. The wait felt like an eternity. Emma arrived, smiling like nothing had changed. My chest tightened. I wanted to run, to scream, to demand answers all at once, but I couldn't. I forced a calm voice. We need to talk about something important. Her smile faltered slightly. England's evening light seeped into the room, casting shadows that seemed to echo the tension between us. This conversation would change everything. I swallowed hard and asked the question I feared most. Is there something between you and Jake? Emma froze. England's streets outside were quiet, unaware of the storm inside our flat. Her eyes darted away, and I knew before she spoke. My heart sank. The truth was waiting, ready to shatter me completely. Emma admitted it. Her voice was soft, almost trembling. She confessed to an emotional closeness with Jake that had crossed lines we never expected. England's drizzling rain outside felt like a curtain separating me from the world I knew. I wanted to cry, to scream, to escape, but I stayed, gripping the edge of the sofa, trying to make sense of the betrayal. Anger took over. My hands shook, my voice rose, and words I didn't know I could say came out. England's evening wind rattled the windows, as if echoing my fury. I wanted to lash out, to demand revenge, to destroy everything. But deep down, a small part of me still loved Emma. The conflict inside me was unbearable. I couldn't stay. I grabbed my coat and walked into the streets of England, rain soaking through my hair. Every step felt heavy, every light blurred by tears. I didn't know where I was going, maybe nowhere, but I had to move. The betrayal weighed too much, and silence was the only company I could bear. Alone in a small cafe, I sat staring at my coffee, England's rain streaking the windows. I replayed every memory. Sophie, Emma, Jake. Each smile, each secret, each lie. My chest hurt. I realized that love could feel like safety and betrayal at the same time. I didn't know what to do next, but I knew I had to face the storm. I decided to confront Jake next. If I wanted closure or revenge, I had to face him. England's gray morning light made the streets seem endless as I walked toward his flat. Fear and determination clashed inside me. Today I wouldn't run. Today I'd demand the truth. I stood outside Jake's flat, my heart hammering. England's narrow streets were quiet, damp from the morning drizzle. I rang the bell and waited. When he opened the door, his usual charm was gone, replaced by unease. I didn't waste time with small talk. We need to talk about Sophie and Emma. His eyes flickered, and I knew my questions had landed. Jake leaned against the doorframe, avoiding my gaze. He admitted things had gone too far, that he didn't know how to stop. England's gray streets outside seemed to watch us silently. I wanted to yell, to hit him, but I forced myself to listen. The betrayal wasn't just mine. It was tangled between three people I cared about. Sophie called again. Her voice was calm, almost teasing. "Did you talk to him?" she asked. I felt my anger rise. I realized she had controlled this story from the beginning, drawing me in piece by piece. England's dim evening light outside my window felt oppressive. I hung up, unsure if I hated her or pitied her. Emma wanted to explain. She said it started as confusion, as closeness with her brother, and spiraled into something she couldn't control. England's streets outside were quiet again, almost like the world was holding its breath. I didn't know if I could forgive her, or if I even wanted to. I had to decide. Stay and try to rebuild, or leave and start over. England's skies were heavy with clouds, reflecting the storm inside me. I felt torn, every choice painful. I knew this would define the rest of my life. The weight of betrayal pressed on me. But so did the memories of love I still couldn't forget. I met Sophie in a quiet English park. She sat calmly on a bench, as if waiting for me to explode. I confronted her about every manipulation, every secret. She didn't deny anything. The leaves fell around us, unnoticed, as tension thickened the air. England's autumn made everything feel colder, harsher, sharper. I reached my breaking point. I yelled, I cried. I wanted to tear everything down. England's streets were empty, echoing my anger. Sophie didn't flinch. I realized that some people never change. They only reveal themselves. My heart hurt, but clarity began to form in the chaos. I walked home alone, soaked by the rain. England's streets reflected the streetlights on wet pavement, cold and unfeeling. I needed time to think, to breathe, to decide what I wanted from life and love. The betrayal was heavy, but I was starting to see a path forward. Emma came to my door the next morning. She begged me to stay, to try to fix what had been broken. England's soft morning drizzle framed the scene. I looked at her face and remembered why I loved her, but I also remembered the pain. My heart wavered. Could love survive betrayal? I decided to try. Trust would have to be rebuilt slowly, one step at a time. England's streets felt calmer in the afternoon light, though the storm inside me still raged. I and Emma agreed to therapy, honesty, and time. It wouldn't be easy, but for the first time in weeks, I felt hope. Jake apologized. He admitted he'd been selfish and reckless. England's gray skies reflected my lingering resentment, but I started to see a small chance for forgiveness. He promised to stay out of our lives unless invited. The tension wasn't gone, but at least some control returned to me. Sophie left England, disappearing from my life again. The phone no longer vibrated with her messages. England's spring sunlight felt like relief, warm on my face. I realized that some people are only chapters in your life, not the story itself. I could breathe again, though scars remained. Emma and I began rebuilding. We laughed, argued, and slowly trusted again. England's parks, streets, and cafes became part of our healing. Each small step felt monumental. We didn't forget the past, but we learned to live with it. I understood now that love and betrayal could coexist. England's streets, once ominous, now felt familiar, safe. We weren't perfect, but we were committed. Each glance, each touch, reminded me that we could survive even the worst storms. The past stayed with me, but it no longer controlled me. Emma and I moved forward, slowly, carefully, stronger than before. England's morning sun lit our faces as we walked, a reminder that life could continue even after betrayal. We had survived the storm, and now we could choose happiness.